United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has issued a stark warning over the humanitarian situation in Gaza, describing the aid currently being allowed into the territory by Israel as deeply insufficient. It amounts to a teaspoon of aid when a flood of assistance is required, he told reporters. Guterres emphasized that without rapid, reliable, safe, and sustained access to humanitarian aid, more lives would be lost, and the long-term consequences for Gaza's population would be severe. He went on to denounce what he called the cruelest phase of this cruel conflict, stating that Palestinians in Gaza are enduring unimaginable suffering as Israel ramps up its military operations.
For nearly 80 days, Israel blocked the entry of life-saving international aid. As the world's leading hunger assessment found, the entire population of Gaza is facing the risk of famine. Families are being starved and denied the very basics, all with the world watching in real time. Israel has clear obligations under international humanitarian law. It must treat civilians humanely, with respect for their inherent dignity. It must not forcibly transport, deport or displace the civilian population of an occupied territory. And as the occupying power, it must agree to allow and facilitate the aid that is needed. Finally, a trickle of aid has crossed over. In recent days, almost 400 trucks were cleared for entry to Gaza through the Kerem Shalom crossing. But supplies from only 115 trucks have been able to be collected, and nothing has reached the besieged north. We are working around the clock to get whatever aid we can to people in need. And we managed to distribute some wheat, flour, baby food, nutrition supplements, and medicines. At long last, a few bakeries in South and Central Gaza are operating. But let us not forget that we are operating in the middle of a military operation. In any case, all the aid authorized until now amounts to a teaspoon of aid when a flood of assistance is required. The needs are massive and the obstacles are staggering. Strict quotas are being imposed on the goods we distribute, along with unnecessary delay procedures. Other essentials, including fuel, shelter, cooking gas, and water purification supplies, are prohibited. We continue to request for safety and security mitigation measures to be in place for all convoys.
Meanwhile, political tensions within Israel have intensified. Defense Minister Israel Katz announced that he would seek to bar left-wing politician Yaakov Golan from reserve duty and prohibit him from wearing a military uniform or entering army bases. This decision follows remarks by Golan, a former major general, who sparked outrage after stating in a radio interview that a sane country does not kill babies for a hobby. Though Golan later clarified that his comments were directed at government policy and not soldiers, he warned that Israel's actions in Gaza could turn it into a pariah state. Katz accused him of slander and moved to enforce the ban. In Switzerland, a local NGO has requested authorities to investigate the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, an American-backed group that aims to implement a new aid distribution model in Gaza. The United Nations has expressed strong opposition to this plan, stating it is neither impartial nor neutral. According to the UN, the model risks further displacing civilians and exposing thousands to harm. The GHF, for its part, maintains that it strictly adheres to humanitarian principles and hopes to begin operations in Gaza by the end of May. International criticism of Israel's offensive continues to grow. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has lashed out at France, Britain, and Canada after their leaders threatened to take concrete action if the assault on Gaza doesn't cease. Netanyahu accused them of emboldening Hamas, stating, "You're on the wrong side of humanity and you're on the wrong side of history." In Berlin, a spokesperson for the German government echoed these concerns, calling the current aid effort into Gaza far too little, too late, and too slow. The spokesperson emphasized the urgent need to scale up humanitarian deliveries and ensure that aid reaches those suffering in Gaza. At the World Health Organization's annual assembly, Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus delivered an emotional plea. Fighting back tears, he urged Israel to show mercy in Gaza. Drawing on his own wartime experiences in Ethiopia, Tedros said he could feel the pain of Gaza's people. He condemned the weaponization of food and medical supplies, stating that only a political solution could bring ensuring lasting peace.
We ask member states to accept more patients, and we ask Israel to allow these evacuations and to allow urgently needed food and medicine to enter Gaza. WHO stands ready